Hello, this is Vladimir Tolsky, and I'm the person behind, also the person behind this mysterious V-gate magnetic linear motor experiment. And I'm not claiming that I invented the perpetual motion machine. God no. I would never say that. However, I really don't understand why when I built that first magnetic array with hot glue and sticks and a bunch of neodymium magnets, and I put that first version of that roller into that array, it kind of rolled through it and out of it on the other side. I also don't understand that when I place some magazines under one end of that magnetic track in my most popular video on this channel, significantly the most popular video on this channel, I really don't understand why almost as if that thing rolled uphill and then continued on. And I am confused. I'm not drawing any conclusions. I would like to repeat this experiment with Teflon tracks, with some machined parts, with more precise parts, and I already have some things figured out for that. However, the amount of money that requires is about, according to my estimation, that would be about $600 to $800, and I don't have that kind of money. And if I had that kind of money, I would spend it on a computer to edit video. That's my greatest priority right now. I need a computer that can allow me to edit footage with DaVinci Resolve and Corel Draw and Adobe Photoshop and a bunch of other very useful, proven professional software that can allow me to create thumbnails, edit video, and present my ideas more effectively. So I'm not exactly going to, if I get some kind of money either donated to me or somehow earn it, although it hasn't been easy in the past. I worked a lot of crappy jobs and lost my health working crappy jobs. Yes, if I get that kind of money, I'm not going to spend it on a perpetual motion machine. I'm going to spend it on something that is more directly related to my survival. However, I do have that scientific curiosity. I would like to build a nice elliptical track and have that thing rolling around in circles, ideally. And the ironic thing is, I was in an extreme state of depression and despair. I was literally, it was almost like a paralyzing kind of depression experience. I felt very, very, very demotivated. And all of a sudden I did this experiment and it worked the way I didn't expect it. And I'm still haven't been able to replicate it. I bought some better parts. I actually had parts machined. I spent some money on it, but there was a problem that this simple setup with a plexiglass track and a simple PVC pipe roller and there was some finesse in that. It was almost like it was a perfect storm, perfect coincidence that this stuff worked. And once I tried to use hobby railroad tracks, machined steel rollers, bigger magnets, different arrangement, I lost that magic balance. So my experiment number 2 was just a waste of money, and I had given up on this subject for maybe 4 years at this point. I moved on to other things, and I had couple jobs, I had couple relationships, I had couple more headaches, couple more health problems. So I really didn't have time and energy to dedicate to that specific moment in my life when, oh crap, that actually works. And now there's no point for me to repeat my more expensive mistake. I actually want to go back to the simple version, except I want to build a very sturdy, lengthy, expandable frame out of plastic lumber, pretty much. You know, that stuff that they're selling now at the hardware store to rebuild your house so it doesn't rot away. This vinyl vinyl foam plastic, and also some PVC plastic fence parts, because those seem to be pretty rigid extrusions. They're non-magnetic, they're pretty cheap and easy to work with. And I want to build this sort of table. I also learned how to modify Legos so they can hold magnets, and I can precisely adjust them and everything will be nice and the array will come out nice, straight and symmetrical. So I wanted to use that as well. I also want to make the track out of Teflon strips, except they have to be very precise. I can't get a bunch of wavy Teflon and expect that the low friction coefficient would compensate for the waviness. So it'd be nice if some experienced engineer helped me purchase the stuff, or someone sent it to my doorstep. Kind of think that 1/4 of an inch to by 2-inch or 1.5 inch rectangle, cross-sectional rectangle extrusion out of Teflon would be something I need. Probably 6 or 8 feet of this stuff in order for me to consider rebuilding anything, and that's pretty expensive actually. So yeah, I need a bunch of stuff, or someone else can build it and share their result with me. I can direct you, I can show you how this mysterious perfect storm of crap that I found in the dumpster plus magnets actually created that experiment. I'm not lying to you, I'm still not sure why it worked. The reason I'm telling all this is because I would like to repeat an experiment so I can draw a better conclusion. When we have a certain mass climbing up a hill, we can calculate how much energy it is gaining as it's overcoming gravity. It's something that we all know from the from the school level physics class. So it's not very difficult to knowing the acceleration of the Earth's gravity and the distance that the net distance that it traveled up, to calculate that. However, when all parts are wavy and kinky and came out of a dumpster, or actually they didn't come out of the dumpster, they came from a hardware store cutoffs bin, which is a trash bin, and if managers are not assholes, they usually let you take stuff from there. And if they're assholes, they will tell you that it's someone else's property and that it should better go to the landfill than to you, because obviously they're siding with their capitalist and pleading excessive loyalty to the people who exploit their labor, and that's kind of sad. They're overacting it, as if someone is really going to fire them for giving a poor inventor of a perpetual motion machine some cutoffs from a trash bin. I never heard of stories that extreme. And anyways, I've been there in the hardware store. I got those wavy parts. I spent some time with sandpaper, but not much. And then it was just a perfect freaking coincidence. I glued this thing together and it worked. So the only thing I really paid for was neodymium magnets. Everything else came out of trash. PVC pipe was a cutoff that I just had laying around. Actually, those sticks of wood that the magnets are glued to I also paid for them. But everything else was trash, and that's the mystery. I don't understand how it works. If it works, is this experiment worth repeating? But it looks like people liked it and commented on it, and I don't know, maybe someone can help me continue doing this experiment. I would like to build a device that's 6 feet long, that I can measure the angle of incline, that I can actually put a bunch of they call them levels on construction levels. It has to be sturdy, so I can show that the bubble is pointing up, because and that the whole thing is at that angle, not just the local region where that level is. I want to do an experiment, and as a scientist, I don't have any prejudice towards it actually working or it not working. I want to understand what the heck is going on. I'm still clueless. I'm not the first person to claim that I've invented a magnet motor in this whole universe. There has been this Norwegian sculptor named Reidar Fensrud, who has been on Discovery Channel with his magnet motor. He was even featured in one of the scientific shows in the Soviet Union back in the day. So he made, back when Soviet Union was had its 3 television channels and television was scarce, there was this very famous scientist investigating a bunch of scientific mysteries, and there was an episode apparently dedicated to this sculpture, Radar Fensrud. He has been around for maybe 40 years with this machine, and yet he's just a sculptor. He doesn't claim, he's smart enough not to claim that he invented a perpetual motion machine. He doesn't want to go to the nut house. He just calls it a kinematic sculpture. So I guess I will do the same. And yet, there are some similarities. You kind of trick this magnet into being attracted by other magnets, but as that magnet is coming towards those magnets are moving away, something like that. And also, I don't know if it's just another fake piece of shit, like a computer fan with a bunch of magnets glued onto the blades of the fan, and someone actually blowing on it, making it spin and telling you that it's the magnetic forces that are doing that. Well, if Radar Fensrud hasn't created a fake machine and he got some attention for it from the television, well, why can't I be the next Radar Fensrud? So thank you for watching this video. I hope that you've seen the original experiment. I also hope that you either help me replicate this or you do it yourself. I will give you all the secrets of the trade. There are a few little mechanical tricks that I discovered along the way. Mechanical, that means very basic empirical experience that showed me that there's a way to where you think you're reducing friction, but you're actually increasing it, and that there are ways to build this experiment with hardware from your local hardware store where it would actually work out very nicely, and perhaps be more precise than what I already have, and demonstrate better results. However, I did it on the budget. I had no money. I was very depressed. I just had a bunch of crap laying around, and I ordered a bunch of magnets, hot glued everything together, and eventually that led me to the video that I made. And then I broke everything and threw it away and only left the magnets, because I felt like I'm not doing the right thing for myself at the time. And maybe that's also true, because clearly it didn't bring me anything new into my life, only a sense of mystery. Like, what is it? I wasn't trying to fool myself or anybody, and I'm still not. And I hope that the $600 experiment that may clarify what the heck is going on is also not going to be used by anyone else to fool anyone. And if it doesn't work, we just admit that here's how we fooled ourselves, and this is why it doesn't work. However, general answers that it violates the laws of physics, so it can't happen because it can't happen, are not very satisfying either. I want a more satisfying answer. I want a satisfying answer that would explain why the original experiment sort of kind of worked, despite its waviness and bumpiness and imperfection of all the scrap materials that I used. I don't have a lathe, I don't have a mill. At that time I used absolutely no precision equipment. I only had a hacksaw and a stool and my foot to hold the piece of wood that I was cutting, and a glue gun and a bunch of other stuff like a steel ruler to measure out the spacing of the magnets. So yes, I hope that this is useful explanation to my most popular video on this channel, and I hope that I'll be able to continue working on this experiment at some point. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.